Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at 3 new Civivis as part of Civivi's monthly drop. And what we have here is a brand new version, a new material, and a new lock. A really nice mishmash of some previously great models that could potentially be made better depending on just what you think of them, and a new model that continues a long, impressive run of knives that we'll talk about here in just a minute. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. We're just going to go from left to right here. And if you guys are subscribed to my channel, thanks a lot. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you like listening to a guy that is kind of funny, kind of an idiot with hairy knuckles talk about knives, hit the subscribe button. We like to keep it light and funny on this channel, but we do look at a lot of cool knives, and I would love to have you along for the content. So hit that subscribe button, and now let's see what we got here. This is a Brazen with a button lock. And if you guys know anything about the Brazen, you know that it's one of my favorite Civivis of all time. At one point, I called the drop point version of the Civivi Brazen the best knife ever made under 50 bucks, because it was like $49.80, I believe, when it first came out like 2.5 years ago. I liked it so much that I even bought it for the groomsmen in my wedding as part of their little wedding gift package. So I really do like the Brazen a lot. This Tonto version I also like. I never owned the Tonto version because that originally came out in D2, and the drop point version was in 14C28N for some reason. They were, I believe, the same price too, but with different steels. It was pretty much a no-brainer to go with the drop point. But I am very happy to inform you that this Tonto version is 14C28N. So way to go in the steel department, Civivi. And let's take a look at some other specs real quick on this guy, just kind of a little refresher. It's basically the exact same Brazen, slight difference in the handle thickness, but in terms of the overall design, it's basically just the same with a button lock instead of a liner lock. So we are looking at 7.98 inches in overall length, 3.46 inches in blade length. Like I said, 14C28N instead of the D2 that the Tonto version originally was. We have a handle length of 4.51 inches, slightly thicker handle at 510 thousandths, but I gotta say, it actually feels really good, so no issue there. As you can see, G10, button lock, right or left hand, tip up carry. Weight at 3.91 ounces, so really not too bad in terms of the weight department, and a price of... It's a little more than that $49.80 that the Brazen originally was, but for $63.75 for this version, I'm good. I don't have a problem with that one bit. Any Civivi knife coming in at $63 to $64 is pretty much good to go for me. If you guys know, if you have any experience with Civivi, you know that in terms of consistency with overall quality, they're one of, if not the best out there, under $100. Now, I will say this, because I was talking to someone about this at Blade Show. Anytime you're talking about a knife under $100, there's always the possibility to get a lemon or to get one with issues. Like, I don't care what company you're talking about, Kaiser, Civivi, CGRB, Vosted. It's always possible to get a knife with an issue when you're talking a budget knife or a knife under $100. But when it comes to consistency, Civivi is right up there with the least amount of issues. So that's always a really good thing. The blade here is pretty nice. We're looking at 18 thousandths behind the long straight of the edge. And then up here on the tip, which is usually a little thicker, this is actually just slightly thinner. We're coming in around 16 thousandths on the edge up here. And that's mainly just due to the tip getting a little thinner in the overall stock from the grinds. Pretty marginal difference. Overall, in general, it's a very sharp knife, and it's going to do just fine for your EDC tasks. It really just comes down to, you know, if you're a Tonto person or a drop point person. I know originally I definitely and probably always will prefer a drop point over a Tonto, but I really do dig a good Tonto, and this is a pretty good Tonto. I like to see the compound grind, so I do kind of prefer to see like this long edge be a hollow grind and this be a flat. But when you're talking 18 thousandths and 16 thousandths, you're still talking about a really sharp, very effective blade, and very nice button lock action on this Brazen. I have no issue in the action department, and the ergos are solid. So if you like the Brazen and you wanted it in a button lock version, look no further. It's here, and this Tonto version now has 14C28N. So very, very nice job by Civivi, keeping a great knife. And if they're not making it better, they're making it different, which is not a bad thing. So I dig it. I like it. I have no reasons to be against it. Very nice lockup on the button lock. And again, just typical, consistent, great Civivi quality and action in the button lock Brazen. Next up here, we are taking a look at, again, one of probably, I would consider this one of the all-time best Civivis. Like, I love it. And this is a very interesting version that I really do like, but I have a little small issue with this, and we're gonna see what that is. I'm rearranging my notes over here. Okay, now let's see what this is. It's Ultem, and it's a Praxis. It's a Praxis with Ultem, and it really is absolutely awesome. This knife, the Civivi Praxis, could be considered the first amazingly great knife to come out of Civivi. I know when Civivi first made their initial drop, it was like the backlash, which I just liked the backlash. I didn't really love it because the design was just a little too unproportional for me. But this Praxis, this thing, from the moment it came out, it was just amazing. Everyone loved it. Everyone wanted one. It was really one of the knives that put Civivi on the map. And with this Ultem and this incredible milling, look at this nice micro milling. And I tell you, you feel this micro milling. It is a very, very nice job of Ultem. I wouldn't mind seeing this milling on any Ultem I get. Like, it is fantastic. And then you have the nice black coated blade. Anytime I get Ultem, I can't say I'm the world's biggest Ultem fan, but if I ever get a knife with Ultem, it's got to have a black blade and black internal hardware, because the non-coated hardware it looks a little bad for me. The black kind of hides better under the Ultem, so it looks better. If you get something that's not coated, it's going to look a lot like that stop pin, which is it's very glaring under the Ultem, so I'm not a big fan of that. But with most of this being black, I really, really like what they did here. It's still your typical Praxis. We're looking at an overall length of 8.45 inches, a blade length coming in at 3.75 inches, and a handle length at 4.7 inches. The one issue that I really wish Civivi would have taken a slightly different route here. So when the original Praxis came out, it had 9CR18 MOV steel. And I believe it was 9CR. Anyway, this version has 9CR18 MOV steel as well. And I don't know why they did that. I really wish this would have had 14C28N. They're just using it on so much stuff. I really feel like 14C28N would have been the perfect steel to go with here. But at the same time, this guy is only coming in at $59.50. So I get what they did there. If they would have used 14C28N, it would have been a little more expensive. But since they're using Ultem, which is not a cheap material, especially due to the demand for it right now, there's probably just as much cost in the handle material as there is the blade on this. Now, I'm guessing there. Don't hold me to that. But I think that's why they use 9CR18 MOV instead of 14C28N to help balance that cost out to where you still have a knife under $60, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they're thinking about the overall cost because that's very important. But I would have been okay spending like $65 on something like this if it had 14C. And I can't imagine a jump from 9CR18 to 14C would have been that big of a jump. I feel like it would have been like $5 to $7. And I think I would have rather paid the extra $5 to $7 to have the 14C. But with that said, 9CR is still a completely adequate enough steel for most people's EDC uses. We're kind of splitting hairs. And again, $59.50 for this knife is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic, and I don't have any issues. I may would have preferred a different route, but that doesn't mean I don't like the overall product and end result here, which is a damn good knife with excellent fit and finish, phenomenal action. The action on this is just as good, if not maybe a little better than the old Praxises. Very, very nice action. And my only other issue with this, you guys know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to keep saying it until I speak it into existence, because that Civivi C should be blacked out, especially on this version, because everything else is black. So it should be blacked out. Civivi, come on, man. That's all I want, are the blacked out pivots. I would even go as far as saying I wish Civivi would start offering the blacked out C pivots, kind of how they do like the milled clips they do as another option. Like, so this came with a bent over clip, but of course you could go on Amazon and buy a milled clip. I don't know if I really want to spend extra money on it, but for a knife like this that I like that much, I would strongly consider spending an extra, I don't know, $4 or $5. Maybe not that much. I don't know. Maybe even send it as an extra hardware or do something. But I want blacked out C's, especially on a knife with this outfit, with all the black and Ultem. It would look, in my opinion, a lot better. Not just a little, but a lot better with a blacked out C. The sheen would go away that you're seeing from that satin C, and it would have just looked a lot cooler. But with that being said, that's just Wayne being Wayne. I'm sure I'll get people in the comments that are like, shut up about the blacked out C. But that's how I feel about it. And I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. But this is still a great knife. I really do love the finish on the Ultem. I love the Praxis blade. That choil is a dream. The knife feels fantastic. It's still an excellent knife. Just, I'm nitpicking because Civivi does too good of a job sometimes. I can't give them a pass. But no, this is a great knife. For $59.50, it's a yes all day. And for anyone that likes a Praxis and Ultem, it's a no-brainer. So, and I believe they do offer non-coated versions too, to where the blade is, I think, satin, and then the inside hardware is also just non-coated. So if you don't like black, you still have that option as well if you want to get something with Ultem. So that's the Praxis. And now let's move on to the last knife, which is going to be more of a full review because I have carried this. I have used it. I really like the continued run of big knives that feel good in the hand and carry good in the pocket. And this is exactly that. This is the Civivi Tranquil. Now what we have here is an overall length of 8.7 inches, a blade length at 3.7 inches, and a blade thickness at 120 thousandths. We are looking at 14C 28N on the steel with a very nice looking clip point blade, a flat grind with a handle length at 5 inches and a handle thickness at 470 thousandths, G10 handle material with a liner lock, left or right hand, tip-up carry with a fully recessed clip that is very, very nice, and it's recessed on the other side as well. We have a weight coming in at 4.29 ounces for the size. That is A-okay with me. And a price, and again, another very reasonable $63.75. So let's do a quick size comparison with this one because it is a big knife and it is a brand new design. So we need to put it into perspective. And let's bring the Praxis back out. You guys know how big the Praxis is. The Praxis as well as the Conspirator. Perfect little size comparison there. And there you go. As you can see, considerably bigger than both, or considerably longer than the Conspirator and the Praxis. And now that we got that out of the way, let's continue on. Just one round of size comparisons today because we're running a little long looking at multiple knives. But this blade is very, very nice. It's your typical Civivi scalpel, guys. 16 thousandths behind the edge. Uber thin up at the tip, very, very nice and slicey. This could make a nice budget hunting knife. I really could see it excelling in kind of that hunting role, or like field dressing after the hunt. So it could come in very handy there. Really nice amount of sharpened blade length, especially with that choil up here. Usually when you have a choil, you'll lose some of that blade length or sharpened blade length, and they did a really good job of keeping that very minimal while also a nice choil up there. Excellent ergos all around. If you're using the choil, it's excellent. If you're just holding it back here, if it's not excellent, it's really darn good. Another very nice, long, and comfortable handle, but one that's not super girthy. So a lot of hands will like it. If you got bigger hands, you have the length. But if you have smaller, skinnier hands, you still there's not that girth that's taking it up or making it feel bigger for you. It's a very usable, very workable knife for various hand sizes. And like I said before, I really love the recessed clip. I like the fact they even used a different clip than normal. It doesn't have anything cut out, just nice and very simple, but perfectly recessed and very deep carry. So you're going to see very, very little of that knife sticking out of the pocket, which is a good thing for most people. And then the action on this is, it's typical Civivi awesomeness. I mean, The detent's perfect, middle finger flicking is good, and the thumb flick is good to go. So no issue there, very smooth on the close. And again, as always, with pretty much every Civivi, you have excellent, there it is, excellent jimping up there right on the flipper tab. So it makes it pretty much foolproof in terms of you don't have to worry about failing the flip. It's just very, very easy. Wherever you put your finger on that flipper, it's going to kick it out effortlessly. So very nice in the action department and very nice overall. If you like big knives, this is the year for you, especially big knives under $100. It's just one after the other with excellent, excellent options. So let me know, guys, in terms of these three models here on the table, which one is your favorite? Let me know what you think about Civivis and even Wii's like monthly drops. It's more monthly just with Civivi and Sencut. But let me know what you think of that. I kind of like what they're doing. I'm just curious on your thoughts on that. And of course, let me know what you would like to have on the table here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, which will be tomorrow, I'm out.